to overthrow the constitutionally elected government of the Gambia. Security forces have taken into custody a number of people, including the ringleaders, which include military officers and civilians. The ringleaders have spoken in statements that GRTS is now about to broadcast simultaneously on both radio and television.
My name is Cham. I serve as police advisor and Deputy Inspector General of Police, as well as Director General of Immigration. The knowledge I have of this incident, it's rather limited, and I was able to get this information at the very last minute. Personally, when I looked at the situation, it looked to me more like there was a plan, but that was never executed. I was informed of this whole thing by Mr. Ndure Cham, whom I have known through the services whilst I was serving, that he had more like a desire than a plan to overthrow, to change the government. The change of government that he explained to me he wanted to do was more like just changing the leadership, because he said to me he wanted to leave everything as it is. The political parties, the people holding their positions, and even he even said the APRs should be allowed to continue as a party, and the constitution will not be suspended, and there will be no commissions of inquiry, and life would just go on. I told him, well, what means do you plan on doing this? And he gave me the assurance that the whole military was behind him. And I said, well, if the whole military is behind you, and Tamsir Yasi certainly cannot stop you. And then later on he mentioned about stopping communication during, how he can go about stopping communication during the act. And one of the major things he mentioned to me that I had put some significance was when he one day said to me that if they should do this, they'll have to cut off communication, and they'll have to the fiber optic. I said to him, no. I mean, if you do that, you're destroying the country. You're not. You are helping. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows that these things have switches. So instead of cutting this whole thing, the army is behind you, please switch them off instead of cutting the fiber optic cable, because I know these cables are very expensive and it will take a long time before you can restore telecommunication services. And he went about his way, and until the very day when he called me and said they're going to do it. And that was around about 6 o'clock that he told me that they were going to do it. And then, no, he called me about 3 o'clock and said they were going to do it. And then 2-3 hours later, he called me and said, you know what, we are abandoning this thing. We're not even going to get started, because it has Lam Tombong Tamba had sent the message to Mauritania. So I told him, well, that's the best thing you can do. You have not even started it. No one is hurt. Nothing is destroyed. So maybe that's less of a problem than if you had tried to force your way through. So what are you going to do now? So he said, I don't know. So he went away. That was on the phone, hung up. And then I was in my house with my wife and children, and then he called again and said that someone had informed him that he was to be arrested and that he was on the run. And at that point, I began to realize the seriousness of the situation. And then I discussed it with my wife. I said, this is what has been happening. This guy had told me this, and now this is happening. Then my wife was very concerned and said, I think you better go and speak to the American ambassador as a U.S. citizen, which I did. I told him about this, and he said to me, go home, and if the authorities ask you, if your question, cooperate with them. Tell them what you know. And I was picked up, and I came here, and I told them what I know. Here right now, regret, sorrow is what I feel. This was on Wednesday evening at between 5:30 and 6. It was Mr. Ndure Cham that I transported to Kujube, which later on I found out was actually out in Senegal, and I came back. I did it because I said, okay, it's a way out for both of us. When we got there, I decided, no, I am coming to face the consequences, and I came back. To that issue of this external liaison. When Ndure Cham, this was about 2 months ago, which was, about 2 months ago, which was the initial thing he told me was, we have the border problem between the Gambia and Senegal. It's gone to such a point that it's affecting both countries economically and so many other ways. And I remember distinctly telling him that the cost of cooking gas has gone up in both countries so much so that business people in restaurants don't even make a profit now. They spend it all on cooking gas. And he said to me, I want to send a message to the Senegalese embassy, to the Senegalese High Commission, that the politics, the security services in the Gambia and Senegal should continue working smoothly together and not mind about let the politicians sort out their political issues. Because at these borders, it is security personnel that stand there. If the security personnel facilitate movement, there will be smooth cooperation. And he wanted me to go to the Senegalese ambassador and informally just discuss this with him. And I asked him, how come you can't do that? And he said, I'm not too sure if that is in line with Gambian government policy, but I just want them to know this. So I went there. It took me a while before I was able to finally go there and get an appointment. I went in, I gave my name and all my information, and it was about 3-4 days later they called me and said, yes, you had requested a meeting with the ambassador, you can come. And I went in, I greeted the ambassador, and before I started to tell him, he said, wait, let me call a witness. So he called somebody else who came in and sat down, and I said to him, well, Ndure Cham had asked me, Mr. Ndure Cham had asked me to informally and personally come to you and explain to you that what is happening in the border, the security services of both countries should work together to smoothen it. And the ambassador himself had at first expressed surprise as to why I would be the one to convey such a message. And I told him, I said, Ndure Cham would find a way of officializing this, he says. But this, for now, this is what he had asked me to do, and I would like for you to understand that he's seeking a cooperation between the two securities, and the politicians can take care of their problem, and that the situation in Gambia and Senegal is becoming dangerous in his point of view. So this was his concern. The ambassador listened to me, surprisingly. He said, well, then he just elaborated on the need for closer relationship, just like you would talk to a Senegalese neighbor about, it's true, the two countries are so close together, we really should come together, just on that general term. He spoke generally and said that, okay, I will contact you. I left my number, because you leave your number there anyway when you go. And then it was after a while, about 4 days or 5 days later, I got a call from someone who said he was in Senegal, who identified himself as Pape Sek, and said, my superior gave me your name and number. So I just called to say hello, I will call back. And then I told Ndure Cham that instead of the ambassador calling me, it is this man who is calling me from Senegal. So I gave Ndure Cham that information. He said Pape Seck might be in intelligence.
Where?
In Senegal, military intelligence, he said. It was Mr. Cham who gave me the information that this Pape Seck would give him money. He requested the money because I asked him, why is it that you want money from anybody? And he said, the senior officers in the military, nobody is, because what he was saying was, no member of the military is going to be in the government. It would be left purely to the ongoing civilian government and so on and so forth. And that at least if these senior officers are paid money, it would be some kind of a compensation not to request, request positions in the government, because the government was supposed to just continue as it is with civilians. He said, if I had $1 million, but to me that was just like daydreaming. I mean, who is going to give him $1 million? What Ndure Cham had said was, for me, I had always expressed to him that my interest is business. He said, oh, but you are good in law enforcement, and the IGP, Sonko, is a very good soldier, whom I would really like to promote and transfer back into the army, because most of the senior people in the army are gone. This is what he told me. I said, well, I mean,
my name is Aliou Diop. I'm 36 years old. Residing in Fajikunda. I was the director of Treasury, Colonel Ndure Cham. Actually, he's a grandfather to me, actually. And he has very high trust on me. I could remember over a year back, he once told me, then he was the commander of the National Guard. He once told me that he is contemplating of overthrowing the government, and I told him this is not a good idea. As a human being in life, you have hardships, and after every hardship, you have joy after it, which means whenever it is tough, expect to smile at the end of the tunnel. And I discouraged him, but until when he was appointed as Chief of Defense Staff, when I was not in town, I was somewhere in UK, I gave him a congratulatory call, encouraging him and telling him to work hard. On my return, to my surprise, he was still keen on pushing for the same thing. And I always continue discouraging him, because what I know is, like, if you are not happy, as I already indicated, maybe you are not happy and you are now promoted, that should be the end of things. And he always tell me, I'll go ahead, and I always insist, don't do it. And he has been threatening me at that level that in the event he had this thing anywhere, he's going to deal with me. He could even make sure that my head is blown off. He's the head of the armed forces. So on that note, everything continued for a while until very, very recent. That was just anytime I visited him, because he's a relative, in most cases I meet a white Pajero there. White Land Rover. Normally I go into the house, sit and chat with the wife. When I come out, if I find out, he'll tell me this is Tamsir or whatever. Then he continued until one day I went there. He told me that, in fact, I have these sketches from Tamsir. He said, like, Tamsir was dealing with a key intelligence officer in Senegal. He said Senegal was about to give them, somebody, top key, whatever, in the Senegalese intelligence, according to what he told me, is ready to give them money. I continue discouraging him. He said they are not having the money. I said, leave it. This is even an indication that you cannot do it. He went further and said they were about to bring weapons into this country. I told him, it's better you leave this thing. That was the same discussion. That was just one discussion. He mentioned all those things, money, weapon, and whatever. But he said he believed the weapons cannot come in here, or whatever. So in any case, one thing I know, it was Tamsir who was between him and this man. What he only told me was Senegal would possibly, would be, either deploying troops in Casamance and somewhere in, this place, around Nyoro or whatever, Kaolak area. And those people would give him support in the event he's about to fail. Because he mentioned that Bayo would take care of 2 infantry battalions. Those people in Casamance would help him would take care of Kanilai. I think that's what he told me. If I can remember, that's what he told me. Whether it's true or it's not true, this is his words. And as I indicate to you, I'm just going to say his words. Because it's not me, I don't know those people, I have never seen them, but I'm just going to say his words. And on most occasions, I will always tell him, avoid it. I think you have to put this to rest. Avoid this thing. That is always what I tell him. And he will always tell me, I want you to inform Captain Famara Jame to be part of it, which I never did, because I know I'm not subscribing to it, and I don't want a close friend of mine to subscribe to it. So I have never informed him. We continue like that until, if I can recall very well, on a Monday, was it Monday? In the night, he told me that he's going ahead with his plan, he is not going to wait anymore. That was late in the night, and I was very confused. And the next day, early in the morning, because Captain Jame is my good friend, I called him to, tell him that I'm not very comfortable. It seems something is about to happen, and let him watch out. These are the exact words I think I told him. From there, Captain Jame, I think, left to his office. And around around 4:30, 5 o'clock, he phoned me, indicating that, he's confused. And I asked him, what is the confusion? He said, an NCO in Yundum called him to inform him that there is a plan, coup, or whatever. And I told him this was the message I wanted to put across to you, but, because of the threat on me, I couldn't go ahead, because I'm not very sure. What Colonel Cham normally tells me is, watch out whom to talk to, because whoever you talk to could be part of it. This is exactly the words he always tells me. And I was very afraid, because I don't know then who is in and who is out. And since it's a military thing, I'm a civilian, I thought the best thing is just to avoid, not to even talk, because when you talk, you'll be used as an exhibit again. And when you talk, you don't even know whether the guy you are talking to is somebody who is part of it. So these are all worries in my brains. Under the circumstance, when Captain Jame called me around 5, he told me this. He said he's confused. I told him I'm also confused. But I said this was the message I was trying to send across, at least for people to be alert. Then what he told me was, what do I do now? I said, well, he said he has called the commander. I said, okay, you have called the commander. Talk to any command you believe you have to talk to. Then he said CDS told him that I should have informed him. I told him I'm not part of it, and if I'm not part of it, I don't want you to be part of it, and therefore I don't think I should inform you. Then that was it. Later CDS called me to tell me that he's leaving and he wants me to take care of his family in his absence. He was the very one who told me that Ibulo told him that this thing has been, the president is aware, and they have dispatched, soldiers to arrest most of the officers. He told me that. Later, CDS called me to tell me that he's leaving, and he wants me to take care of his family in his absence. As a relative, I know, I arranged for him to come to Farato. Then he was in Farato. I assigned my uncle to send him, I sent him money, about, I think, $6,000 to Tanje with a taxi, and the taxi brought him, I think, to Birkama, and then he came back to Farato. One of my regrets is bad associates, and to have a bad associate whom you believe is somebody part and parcel of you is the worst thing that can happen to a human being. And one has to be very careful to be associated with good people. That is one of the things. The only apology I have to say is like, I could have leaked it and I never did. So if Gambian people believe that I should have leaked it under the circumstance and the trauma I was going through, well, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to everybody under the circumstance, and wish that this current undesirable situation ends as quickly as possible, and wish that there is peace, tranquility, and order in the country for the sovereignty of this country. I think that's the only thing I have to say.
My name's Captain Bunya Dabo. I was enlisted into the former National Gendarmerie on 10th June 1991. After the 1994 coup d'etat, there was amalgamation. Some members of the Gendarmerie were moved to the army, and I was among those who were moved to the army. I then served in Farafenye as a platoon commander and also subsequently as an adjutant. It was from there that I was posted to the then army headquarters as the public relations officer at the same time as the logistics officer. Since 1996, I have been working at the army headquarters, the then army headquarters. And then subsequently in 1999, around 1998, I was posted to Yunum. And then from there, I was posted back to Farafenye. And then 1990, August, I was posted back from Farafenye to the headquarters and reappointed as the public relations officer again. I was doubling as both the brigade major and as well as the public relations officer. Then intermittently, I used to go on missions and return, and then I have been posted back to my position as public relations officer. And it was until 2005 that I was appointed as the military assistant to the Chief of Defense Staff. That was the former Chief of Defense Staff, Captain Sar, retired. And then after Captain Sar was removed, Colonel Cham was appointed, and I was still the military assistant to him.
Do you have any knowledge about this?
Well, it was sometime around March, the beginning of March. As you know, I work with him directly. You know, I have access to his office more than any other officer. I hold the key to his office. I write for him. I hold appointments for him, as well as briefings, and also his official engagements. That was my task. So it was sometime at the beginning of March. You know, I used to go to his office, or sometimes he'll call me. And one of those days, he called me. I went to the office. I can't remember whether he called me or I went there to take some file to him or not. I can't remember, but I was in his office, and then he told me about a particular operation. He mentioned to me that, whether I'm interested to take part in an operation. I didn't understand what he meant at that time. And then I didn't take him seriously. But as time goes on, as I used to go to his office, he will explain to me, so many things. And, to actually get me involved in this thing, he explained to me, he didn't tell me exactly at that time that it was, an overthrow of a government. He only told me about an operation, but I'll come to that later. So he told me about it several times when I go to his office. And then one day I asked him, what do you mean by this operation? He said, look, you have been in the army for a long time, and, the reason why I'm telling you this is because, you know very well that you are an above average officer, but you have not been promoted, your generals have been promoted over you. You have not been promoted. That was something he was emphasizing on all the time, that your generals have been promoted over you. You have been left out, and you should find out the reason why you are left out. So I said, well, you are the one who should tell me exactly what happened, because I don't know. He said, that's what I'm trying to tell you now, that you are left out not because you are a substandard officer, but just because, you are not in the good books, of the commander-in-chief. Well, I said, well, if that is so, I'm yet to, have knowledge of that. But, I know very well that, I am not, somebody who has done anything wrong. I cannot see myself as somebody who has done something wrong that I will not deserve that promotion. He said, but you can see for yourself. All your generals have been promoted over you, and you are here. You cannot have the privilege that they are enjoying, and you are compelled to compliment them. These were his words that he used to tell me every time, all the time. So it was after some time, I used to reflect. Whenever I leave the office, I used to reflect over what he used to tell me. So I also reflected upon what, when one officer confronted me, one of my juniors and now promoted, confronted me and said why I did not compliment him. It pains me so much on that very day. But I took it in good faith, because I know that, one day my turn will come. All right, so that much, he told me about this, about on Monday, he used to tell me about this thing. Until on Monday, he told me that the operation I talked to you about is going to commence tomorrow. That was Monday. He said he was going to start tomorrow, but it's going to be at 2 o'clock. I said, but how? He said, you don't have to worry, because so many people are involved in this. I have made a lot of contacts. Many officers are involved. So he told me that you don't have to worry. So then I said, but I have to know those who are involved. Then he started to name those who are involved. Most of the officers have just been arrested now. All of them, he talked to me about their names, that they have been involved. He talked to me about Captain Wasakamara. He talked to me about Captain Dabo, Yaya Dabo. He spoke to me also about Lieutenant Jame, Famara Jame. He spoke to me about Arasemba. He spoke to me also about briefly about Captain Sekan as well. He talked to me about Farin Sanyang also. So all these are officers he spoke to me about. I cannot recollect all their names, but these are some of the officers he spoke to me about. But he told me that these are officers I've already contacted, and everything is moving on the ground. For you, your role is just to make announcement, a public statement after when it is successful. That's what he told me. So he also spoke to me that the troops in Farafenni have also been informed. He didn't specifically mention any name, but he told me that the troops in Farafenni are already in the picture. So he told me that your role, is going to be very simple. It's just to make, a statement after when it has been successful. So it was on Tuesday before he left for the NSC meeting. He told me to call one couple by Gay. I didn't know then that Mbaye was at the headquarters. I was informed about Mbaye's presence at the headquarters by 102 Jiba, who informed me about his presence at the headquarters. And what actually he told me was the reason for Mbaye's presence at the headquarters was that Mbaye was called, that he was supposed to report to the state guard as one of the outriders. Then he said, the OC, Supply and Transport, has informed him to talk to me so that I can, talk to my seniors not to post Mbaye to the outriders, because he was the only clerk at that, for him at that place. Then I asked him, why is Mbaye? He said, Mbaye is with me. He came with me. He's downstairs. So he said, but Janga said you call him. So I called Janga, the warrant officer, class 2 Janga. I called him, and then I spoke with him. I said, I have just been informed that Mbaye Gay has been brought to headquarters here, that he was transferred to State Guard. He said, yes, he said the admin officer told me that Mbaye should report to the headquarters that he was posted to State Guard. I said, but have you received any posting order? He said, no. I said, then you shouldn't have allowed the person to leave, the post and come here when the posting order was not issued. Then he said, okay, I'll tell Jiba to tell him to come back. So then I went to the CDS office, and I asked him, whether he's aware of any postings of Mbaye Gay to the State Guard. Then he said, he spoke to me, he said, why is he? Around 1 o'clock. He told me to call Mbaye. So I went downstairs, I sent somebody to go and call Mbaye. The person went and called Mbaye. So when Mbaye came, I went with Mbaye to the office, and he was there standing. And then, when Mbaye entered, he told Mbaye, then he told first he talked to me and said, small mbokala, in Wolof. And then he said, he turned to Mbaye and said, I can't remember the exact words in Wolof, but he said, "Lenyo live in, Waji." That I presume was the president. So then I briefly left them in office. I went to collect the key because I have to close his office for him. So when I came back, he told me, I'm going out, to the NSC meeting. You can brief Mbaye. So then, I hinted Mbaye about, this overthrow. And then Mbaye told me that, he was not interested. He told me, and then he told me so many things. I was with him, and then he explained so many things to me. He told me that, he is not interested because, he said, bu fekkee ne dañoo dugal si gaal bi, dañ ma ko njëkka, dañ ma ko bala nga ma wax ne pour nga dugal si gaal bi, dañ ma ko njëkka wax, something like that in Wolof. He was explaining certain things to me like that. So, well, I said, well, this is not, I can't take any decision about this. You have to, wait until the CDS come and then you discuss with him further. He said, no, man, in fact, I cannot wait because I'm not feeling well. I'm on ED. He said, but, you can tell him to call me. So, I forgot to take his number. Then it was after when the CDS came. Then I talked to him about, what Mbaye has told me. Then he said, give me his number. So I had to call, Yundum, to get Mbaye's number, Mbaye's mobile number. And I gave the mobile number to the CDS. So the CDS spoke to Mbaye in my presence, and then, he was telling Mbaye that, Mbaye should meet him at his house at Bakau at 5 o'clock. Then soon after he spoke to Mbaye, then he told me, I'm leaving. Then, he left the office, and I locked the office, and I handed over the key to I also locked my office as well. So I went home. I had a call. It was a private number. I couldn't know the number. And then the person told me that, you better watch out. We have been informed that there are some officers who are, having a meeting at your place, at your residence. I told the person no. He said, but I'm just informing you to watch out. So when the person rang off, I called the CDS. I told him that, I'm hearing something, and it appears that, it seems as if I'm the one who is masterminding this thing, and I'm not. So I told him what I had, and then he told me, no, you are just jittery, but everything is under control. You are just jittery. I said, no, this is something that, I'm really, moved about it, because, I have just been informed that, officers are having a meeting at my place, and that didn't happen. There is no meeting at my place, and as a result, it seems somebody is framing me. Then he told me, you are talking too much. He told me that, because when I asked him how the operation was going to be conducted, that was the time when he told me that, you don't have to be worried, because your role is only to make a statement after when it is successful. Then he told me that, I intended to give envelopes, some envelopes to the officers who are concerned on the ground. And they know, in that envelope, it will contain some taskings. And once they open the envelopes, they will exactly know what they are supposed to do. That's what he told me. Then there was a time when somebody told me, as I mentioned here, about officers having a meeting at my place. And when I called him, he told me that, you are just jittery, but everything is under control. And that the operation is, instead of 2 o'clock, it will be at 11 o'clock. He told me, he gave me the preamble of what, needs to be said. And then he told me to make a draft. The first draft, I made was, he said, the government would be, the power would be handed over to the interim government in 48 hours. That's what was the first thing he said. But then later, he said, called me again, and he said, no, it's supposed to be 10 days, in 10 days time from today. So he told me to, the preamble he gave me, that's what I'm just trying to explain. Fellow Gambians, the Gambia Armed Forces has taken over the country from the regime of President Yahya AJJ Jammeh. The Gambia under Yahya Jammeh has witnessed economic and social degradation. The cost of living of an average Gambian has reached an alarming proportion. The Gambia Armed Forces has felt that under the present political dispensation, there can be no other alternative but to salvage the Gambia from further degradation. The High Command of the Gambia Armed Forces has decided that the power be handed over to an interim government within 10 days from today. The interim government shall be responsible for the running of the affairs of the state. The writing is mine. My only specific role was to make a statement. That was all. On that very Tuesday, 21st, he called me in his office, and he told me that, he would want me to inform Captain Sekan, Captain Ja, Captain Sekan, Captain Ja, and Lieutenant Emeba, where they are supposed to be.
That was where?
He told me to inform Emeba that he's supposed to be at Fajara Barracks. He also told me to inform Captain Ja that he's supposed to be at the headquarters. And then he told me to inform Lieutenant Sekan that he's supposed to be at Fajara Barracks as well. So these are the officers he told me to inform, and I called them and I informed them. They all acknowledge the message. What I can say at this point is that it is something that I have never thought of. It's just that I happen to work with somebody who actually bear this idea, and then I was working with him directly. There was no gap between me and him. We are seeing each other every day, and I was like, in the civilian context, I was his confidential secretary. So I know a lot about him, and then he also know a lot about me. And because of that, he was the one who actually put me, into believing that no, this can be done. So I will just have to, apologize to the president. I have not been malhandled. I have not been malhandled during the period of the interrogation.
I am Captain Wassa Kamara. My present appointment in the Gambia Armed Forces is Provost Marshal. That is the officer commanding the military police unit. My present rank at this stage currently is a captain. My knowledge about the coup plot: initially I was called by the CDS, that is Colonel Ndure Cham, and then informed that he has planned to overthrow the government, that is the coup plot. This, he said to me that he has support from the Gambia Armed Forces headquarters, joint headquarters that is here, plus State Guard Battalion, and then Gas Battalion, plus 1 Infantry Battalion. He said to me that the operation will be a simple operation. The operation that the military police has no major hand role to play. Military police will only arrest after the effect of the operation. The operation will be in this form, that the State Guard Battalion, he has the support from Captain Famara Jame, Lieutenant Ibulo, Second Lieutenant Farin Sanya, Sergeant Malafikor, that is from the State Guard Battalion. That those at the State Guard Battalion will be responsible to take care of the seat of the government, the seat of the president. And then while Ibulo, who is at, I think, at this place, Kanilai, will be responsible for Kanilai. And then he said this Guards Battalion, you have Captain Jallo, 001 Bah, Alpha Bah. Those people, their role will be, they will be responsible of the checkpoints within their various jurisdictions. Then 1 Infantry Battalion, he said the adjutant, that is, Captain Dabo, YMS Dabo, Yaya Dabo, will be, hence is the adjutant will be responsible for the armory, letting the soldiers be armed, making sure that the airport is controlled, that there will be no flight landing and taking off. He also mentioned to me, that is myself, that I should go to the art station, Abuko Art Station, and liaise with Mr. Osman Jai. Osman Jai was never known to me in passing, but when I go to Osman Jai, I will collect some fuses from him, 3 fuses specifically, that these fuses will enable, will bar communication rather, that is internal and national communications within the country. That's what he said. So I went to that place on Tuesday, that is the Abuko Art Station. Before then, on that very Tuesday, I went to 1 Infantry Battalion to meet with Captain YMS Dabo. Dabo was, he told me that he's also informed about the coup plot. Then from there, after talking with him, I left that place. Of course, he told me that his car had a problem, that he's calling. He has called his mechanic to come and fix it. And then also he has, that's what he said, the mechanic to come and fix it. Meanwhile, while I was in his office, there were soldiers coming in and going out. They were coming and going out. Then later, one of them demanded an amount of $50 to buy something for the unit. Then I pulled out $100, I gave it to Dabo to sort out that problem. Then from there, after discussing with him, I left for my office. When I reached to my office, I was there for a while, about 1 hour, 30 minutes or so. Dabo made a call to tell me that, he informed me that his wife was sick and that he has obtained permission from the commanding officer, Major Ibrahim Abba, that he would like to go and cook for his wife because the wife was sick. So there and then he left. After a while, for about around 2 o'clock or so, I think I left that place. I went to his place. Then I asked him where is the location of Major Singate. That is, Edward Singate's residence. Because that was after the operation, military police has a role to play, that is to arrest. He only mentioned at that particular time period that I should arrest this man, Honorable Secretary of State Edward Singate. So when I went to Dabo's place to confirm this, Dabo told me that he did not know. So when I was coming, I found out I couldn't locate the location. I left that place. I came back to my unit, just a close from work. Then from that time period up to in the evening, Dabo came in the evening to my house. After finishing my evening prayers, I met him outside. Then we discussed. Then from there, he left. Then barely after 10 minutes or so, I left too. Later, I made a call to him to confirm where he was. Then from there, I told him that join me at Abuko, our station. When I went to Abuko our station, I went to the guards. I found the guard commander, Arjuma Kamara. Arjuma Kamara, I asked him whether Mr. Njai, Osman Njai, because that is what was on the sketch plan of Abuko our station. So when I went to him, he told me that Njai has closed from work. He's the boss at that place. He said, okay, Njai has closed from work. Then I left outside. I met with Dabo outside. I said to him, look, Njai is not at work. Probably the serious, that is Colonel Cham, was just mixing us, fooling us and mixing us together. He was lying to us. Then meanwhile, Dabo was telling me that he's supposed to go to the airport. I said to him, no, wait. Let's confirm this story first. Whether Njai is there, whether Njai was informed by the CS to confirm. Then from there, we left. I left him again. That was just barely 30 minutes or so. I went to the shop to buy some cigarette. I started smoking. Then normal chatting with him. From there, I left again back to the guard post. I met with Arjuma Kamara. He's the guard commander, Corporal Kamara. I asked him again, please, can you take me to where the duty, the person on duty is at? That is at Abuko our station. He took me right inside to that place, knocked at the door, then the man responded and then opened the door. Then from there, he let me in. When I went inside, I asked Njai. I asked the man, I don't know his name, but I asked him, where can I get in touch with Njai? Do you have Njai's number? He said, yes. Can you please call Njai for me? He called Njai. Then when he called Njai, I spoke with Njai. I asked Njai, I am so. I introduced myself as Captain Kamar. Then from there, I told him that I'm sent by Ibrahim Fati to collect something from you. he said to me he has nothing for Ibrahim Fati and he has nothing for me. I said, anyway, Ibrahim Fati told me to come to you to collect something from him. For him, he said, no, he has nothing for me. I said, okay. Then I left. When I left, I went outside. Shortly before I went in for the second time, when I went to buy a cigarette, I asked Arjuma Kamara and others whether they have hataya so that I can drink first. He told me actually that he has they don't have it. The China green tea, they don't have it. If I can provide for them, I bought them a packet of China green tea, that is the bigger one, and then 3 cups of sugar. So he left. So my second, point of entry, when I went in, I came out after realizing that Jai has nothing for me. Then I went to relay the message to Dabo outside. So we are talking, I told him, Dabo, look, what this man was telling us was all blunders, it's all bullshit. He was trying to mix us together. And then he has nothing, he did not say anything to Njai. Then from there, Dabo told me that, look how this man has baffled us. I say, yes, he has fooled us. But the thing is that you cannot go to the airport because there is nothing like Njai was not here and there is no fuses there here, so it's better we disperse. That's what I told him. So while we are discussing that, meanwhile, Arjuma came outside with a tumbler, with China green tea. So I left Dabo behind. I approached him, took that one, drank it. From there he left. I came back. From there, I told him that it's better we disperse. He said, okay. Then I went to my car. I left. While going back to my residence, at around Abuko, that was what I was just, at around the airport gate, I received a phone call from the duty military police personnel that an information coming from reaching them has been, has revealed that the CDS, Colonel Cham, had planned a coup. And this message, which was relayed to the soldiers at the checkpoint, was, been given to them by Lieutenant Colonel Tamba. He was the one who passed that message to my military police personnel at the checkpoint. So they called the duty MP at the office to tell him that, who is Corporal Tambedu, told him that the CDS, that is Colonel Cham, had planned a coup. And then he called to tell me that. So I rose to that place, to his office. I instructed him to call all military police personnel who are on off duties to report to office for an essential mission. Then I rose to my place, took my pack, put my uniforms in. I came back. When I reached to the office, I changed my dress. When I was going to Abuko Art Station, I was in mufti, in civil dress. So when I came back to the office, I went to my house, take up my packs, my uniforms, and then put them in. I changed dress in the office. Then from there, few of my personnel, about roughly 4 or 5, arrived. I briefed them about the situation, took 3 of them to the checkpoint to reinforce those 4 who are at the checkpoint, VCP at that moment. So after reinforcing them, immediately I entered the gate, that is Gulf Camp Gate. I was arrested by soldiers of 1 Infantry Battalion, initially taken to 1 Infantry Battalion, then from there to Mile 2. So that is it. When I left that place, at Abuko gas post, I was mad because of the information. Said the CDS has lied to us and mixed us all together. Then I tore the sketch plan of Abuko, which is containing that 3 switches. I can still map them out. I can still sketch them. What happened had happened. Well, definitely, this was the way we were misled, especially myself, misled by the CDS. I still plead to the President of the Republic that as human beings, we are bound to make mistakes. We can be easily miscarried. I have done a lot of sacrifice for this country, and I believe I still have that strong support for the APRC government, for the president. This is just a mistake that has happened, and I still plead, if we can pardon us and realize that we are all young officers that fell into this as a victim. You understand? Because initially when I stated that he has support from the Gambia, from the State Guard Battalion, I did not talk to any one of those people. There was no coordinative conference. There was no meeting altogether. I don't know how the man has disguised, used us all together in this way. But there was no meeting whereby you can say, Musa is involved, so is involved, another person is involved, this party is involved. No, there was nothing like that. That I am to the best of my ability. But what I know is that he informed me as a person, and he said that he has support from the GAF headquarters, which I've mentioned about whose name again? Captain Ja. I think I mentioned Captain Ja's name and somebody else, I forgot. He mentioned of those people, and he said top brass. So who are those top brass? I don't have that trust and confidence in anyone, because I don't know who to relay the information to, whom to believe and trust and then pass the accurate information to. So this is why I cannot. But believe in me, people that I work with, most of them know me quite well, that I have nothing to do with anything like such nature. Probably because I, heard on the information, I sit on the information, I did not let it go. That's why I'm a victim. And then the task that I was given to go and collect the fuses, probably, that can make me a victim. And then the support he said he has from the State Guard. At that point in time, you don't know who to trust at State Guard to pass the information to. Probably you are passing the information to a wrong person. So my message to the president is that this is exactly the story that I have in mind, and this is the information that I was given. And no matter what, he is our president. He is our president. He knows quite well, then he can pardon us. There is no way he can pardon us. I believe that if he should pardon us, people of my caliber may not fall as a victim in such situations. And also that the Gambians should understand, because we all realize that the president is working. It's not because I'm a victim that I'm saying this. I've been, talking to my soldiers over and over. I've been given detailed parade, most parade over and over. So being a victim today doesn't mean that I am not, a hardworking officer, that I did not put anything that does not bring any development into this country. I think I have immensely contributed towards, my quota towards development of this country. So, please, that's my message. Let the President, His Excellency, pardon us, pardon me, and pardon the rest. Captain Yaya Dabo, like I said before, that is 1 Infantry Battalion, adjutant to 1 Infantry Battalion, Captain Yaya Dabo. He, according to the CDS, that is Colonel Ndure Cham, that he will be responsible of letting the soldiers armed, that is opening the armory and letting the soldiers armed, manning the checkpoints within their various areas, and then making sure that the airport is secured, controlled, allowing no flight to land in and take off. That was his task given. And then when we reached at that place, Abuko Art Station, he said he wanted to go to that place. I told him that he cannot go unless and until we confirm that Mr. Ibrahim Usman Jai has the fuses or not. But when I realized that this man was lying, that he did not probably discuss anything with Mr. Njai pertaining to the fuses. I said to him that there is no use. So I told him, let him not go to the airport. Let him go back to his house. Yaya was posted to 2nd Infantry Battalion, 2 Infantry Battalion, and then redeployed back to 1 Infantry Battalion just recently. I think that was on Monday he reached office. You know, when I spoke to him at that place, he said the reason of his being transferred was in line with the coup plot. To be frank with you, since the day I came in here, that is on the 22nd, I came here on the 23rd rather. No, on the 22nd, I think. I came here on the 22nd. My first statement was on the 22nd. Since that very day, I came to this place, that is NIA office, up till today. I was never being insulted, slapped, beaten, tortured in any form whatsoever by anybody. All that I was asked to do is to, feel free, relax, and explain briefly or vividly what has transpired. And this was exactly what I did. And then that is it.
I'm Captain Yahya Dabo, Adjutant Yundum Barracks. The whole knowledge about this coup came to me on Tuesday around 6:45 or so, or 7. I was at Farafenye Barracks, posting there as a 2IC till on Sunday. On Saturday, when I went to watch a football match, I came, then my CEO told me that CDS, the former CDS called, said you report to Indian Barracks Monday, 4th parade. That means 8 o'clock, 0800 hours. He said I should give you my vehicle and you report there Monday, 0800 hours, 4th parade. Then on Sunday, I packed up, then came to my home. Then on Monday, I reported to Union Barracks and worked normally till I closed and then went back home. Then Tuesday, I came to work as normal. And around past 8, around 9 or 10, then I saw Captain Wasa Kamara, who entered my office. Then I said, "Welcome, Charlie." I said, "Thank you." So during this session, I was on my breakfast. He took call for a breakfast from the officer's anteroom. Then he pulled out an $800 all in 100 notes and then gave it to me. He said, "CDS, let me give you this." I said, "For what?" He said, "No, don't mind." He said he will talk to you later. I said, "Okay." Then I took it. We sat there having breakfast together, then he left. Then I was there at around 11, and my wife called to say she couldn't cook because she was sick. The way I came and the sickness relapsed again, so I have to go and then help her out. Then I took permission from my CEO, Major Oba, and then I went home. I was there cooking till around 2 or so. Captain Kamara called me to say, "Charlie, I'm going to have a lunch with you today." I said, "Okay, you are welcome. I'm almost ready." Then after around 2:30, then he came and we had lunch together. And then after lunch, we left one soldier just at my backyard. He said, "Let's see." Then he went to the front of my house, and then he said, "Didn't CDS call you still?" I said, "Not yet. I'm not at call." Chief of Defense Staff, Colonel Ndure Cham, the former one. He said, did he call you? I said, "Not yet." Then after some time, he told me, "Now, do you know where Edward Sinati stays?" I said, "Of course, Charlie, you know, he's staying at Cape Point." He said, "No, you are lost. That man is no staying at Cape Point now." I said, "I don't know." He said, "They say he's staying in Bruceby here." I said, "Bruceby is in phases 1 and 2. I'm in phase 2. I don't know where he's in phase 1. We don't know. I don't know." He said, "They say he stayed around here. He stays around here." I said, okay, the only place he might stay, there's a house towards my right. I pointed direction. I said, there's a compound there that has electricity 24 hours. And they have some these private guards there, Uncle Cham and so. And then somebody told me last time, he's a minister who stays there. I don't know, maybe he stays there. He said, okay, I'll find out. He said, okay. Then after that, we went back to the other private soldiers. We drank that brother, then he left me. Then I was there up to around 4 when he called me again, Captain Kamara again called me, say, Sirius said you meet him at Bruce B. Main Johnson at 5:05. I said, Sirius? He said, yes. I said, okay, no problem. And I was there till around 4:45. Then I departed from my house to where he called me I should meet him. Then I was there around 5 minutes to 5. I was there sitting. Nobody came and nobody was coming. Then I decided to buy a scratch card from nearby shop. Then I reloaded my mobile. I called Captain Kamara again because I don't have to see this number with me. I said, I'm here up to around 5:30 and this man is not here still. Can you please tell him that I'm still waiting? He said, okay, I will call. Then I don't know whether he called or not. And after some 20 minutes or so again, there was nobody coming. I called him again, Kamara. I said, please tell CDS I'm still here waiting. He said, okay, I'll call. Then nobody appeared again. After around 20 minutes or 30 minutes again of waiting, then I called Kamara again. I said, please tell him that I'm going. Then if he has no other time, he can call me, then I can come back. He said, no, in fact, he's just around the roundabout. He'll soon be with you. I said, okay. Immediately after that call, then I saw then a vehicle came. Then I was even expecting a guard vehicle. I was looking at these big vehicles as he used to have. All of a sudden, somebody came till he parked. Then he just came out trying to look somewhere. Then I saw him. I said, sir, I'm here. He said, come. Then I came. He said, jump in. Then I got in the house. In the vehicle, he said, where is your home located? I said, in the other direction. If you will left towards Burfoot. Okay, let's go. We went to the main junction where you have that gum juice tabla that goes to my house place, straight. Then he said, okay, in fact, no need to go to your home. I said, okay. So Kamara said he wanted to see me. He said, yes. Don't you know what is happening today? I said, what is happening today? He said, we are going to take over this country today. I said, you are taking over this country today? He said, yes. I said, are the NIS informed about this thing? He said, yes. Because the reason why I asked that question was my man struck straight on my friends. I have a lot of friends, and I wanted to call to inform them about this thing. He said, okay. He said, yes, they are aware of this thing. I said, okay. He said, and I asked, what about the other barracks? Are they part of this thing? He said, no, don't mind. I'll give you your own tax. You know, Fajara barracks, they are being taxed from the airport, from the bridge towards Combos, and then State Guard will take care of from the bridge towards to Banjul, to State Guard itself. They will take care of that thing. So don't mind. Your own tax is to make sure that you reinforce your guard posts around Abuko Art Station, Abuko Transmitter, and the airport tower, and you put an ambush party in place, and then you make sure, give a very clear orders that any plane that lands from 1,000 hours, 2,200 hours, should be demolished. Nothing should land at that place. I said, okay, sir, no problem. Then after that, he just saw me a nylon bag full of juju, say, I'm here, I'm ready with a pistol. He said, I'm ready. And if this thing fails, we are all in shape. I said, okay, no problem. Then he left. I also left for my home. Immediately I arrived at my home, then I informed my wife. I said, these people are up to a coup, which I'm not really interested in. I said, I don't know whom should I contact now, because he said the NIS are part of this thing, so I don't know whom should I contact to fuel this coup. He said, okay. Now he told me, now why not call Jamme, State Guard commander by then, State Guard 2IC, Captain Jamme. I said, that's a very good idea, let me call him. There was time I pick up my phone and then call Jamme to inform him. Jamme said he has a low battery. He said, call me in next 20 minutes at my wife's mobile. But I forgot to ask the wife's mobile number. Then after some 20 minutes, I called him back again with the same mobile. He said, I told you to call me on my wife's mobile. My mobile number, battery is dead. I said, what is your wife's mobile number? Then he gave me the wife's mobile number. I said, okay. Then that is around 8. Around 8. So when the news came, we listened to the news, we were expecting HG to come, and we were praying for the guard of honor. Then when that was not read on the news, I told my wife, let me go and then physically meet this man on the ground. That is better, because this telephone call is not the solution. He said, okay, you can go. Then that, during the interim, my mechanic came back with my vehicle. Then I picked up my vehicle. Then I went out, dropped that guy to where he stays at Bundung. Then I came through Abuko. By the time I was reaching Abuko, I called Jammeh's wife mobile number again. It covered whether Jammeh was in or not. Then he said, she said, Nyona wa Deluna. He said, that means he has come, but he has gone back to work. I said, where? He has gone back to Banjul. He said, yes. I said, okay. Then I don't know what to do next. Then I entered the barracks like that. I went straight, because Jammeh was no more there, whom I wanted to inform. And I went straight to Kamara, Captain Kamara, to see what was going on there. And when I came, we watched the Esmeralda film together. Then I said, I'm going out, Charlie. I'm going back. He said, okay, wait. Then he came out, he said, what have you discussed with the CDS? I said, what did you discuss with him? Because you have come to my office in the morning, tell me what is happening, telling me, did the man to call you, did the man call you? He said, yes, but what have you discussed? I said, the same coup d'etat you told you. I said, but let me tell you, you will not succeed on this thing. It's better you forget about this thing. He said, no, who told you? I said, no, we will not. It's better you forget about this thing. And he said, me, I don't know, but I'm going around to see. I said, okay, me, I'm going home. So he said he too was going out. Then I went to the back, through the back route, he took the straight route. And I wanted to go to Fajikunda to meet my boys. Then when I went up to around the fuel dump at Abuko, at Tabokoto, I said no. Because if I should go to that place and this thing is cooking, and it happened, if anybody who sees me around will say, definitely I'm part of this coup. So let me go back. And as I was coming, I met him branching down to the art station. Then I stopped again. I said, Charlie, what are you doing here? I said, no, I just came to drink Atta with these boys. I said, Atta? I said, yes. Then we stood there for some time. He went inside, bought Atta, gave it to these boys, and he came out. When he came out, we were there standing, he said, let's go and drink Atta. I said, no, I don't want anybody to see within me this vicinity. So as far as this is part of the areas mentioned in this school, I don't want anybody to see me here. If I'm found within this AOR, that's an area of responsibility. That means I can be called and questioned, why are you within this AOR if you think you are not part of this school? I say, let me go home. He said, in fact, I'm trying to confirm somebody whose name was given to me by the CDS. That's Colonel Cham. Who was to put off the 3 switches of the telephone lines. Then he put out a small map on his pocket and then showed it to me. And said, see, these are the 3 areas that needs to be switched off. He said, by 12 o'clock. I said, Charlie, don't be involved in this thing. I said, what about if you get into this thing and this man switch off a wrong switch for you? Do you know you are a layman like me? Please don't be involved in this thing. Say, no, I want to confirm whether this man is still even on work. I say, what I'm telling you is, if you enter here and you want to apply anything there, it will create alarm. And people can find you here, and then it's very easy for you now to be implicated. Don't be involved. Don't even go and ask about this man's, whether he's on work or not. He said, me, I will go. During that debate, when the guard commander came with attire, he said, attire, I said, no, I don't want. I said, go and meet your man to drink your attire, because I don't want to be part of, I don't want to be seen within this vicinity. Then he left and went and took the tumbler from that man, the guard commander, Arjuma Kamara, and drank it. Then he came back to me, say, I'm going to confirm this thing. I say, okay, me, I'm going home. There was time I left, and then I left from my home up to the main junction towards Bruceby, from Brikama Highway towards Bruceby Johnson. Then I found the MPs standing there. When I came and they halted me, I halted. Then they searched my vehicle and then told me, sir, you know what is happening? I said, what is that? They said there is a coup. So the COS, that's the present CDS, said, if you see the CDS, former CDS, couldn't do charges, arrest him. I said, I also heard this just right now. I'm running home. He said, then Jallo told me, why not run home? I said, I'm going home. Then I went home. up to around 12:30, 1. Then I heard a knock on my door. Then I came out. As I was coming out, I saw soldiers jumping all over my compound. Then I came and find out it was a Staff Sergeant Cisse who said, "Sir, you are under arrest." I said, "Under arrest?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, wait." Then I wanted to get in. He said, "No, you cannot get in." I said, "But I'm in nigger, so allow me to dress up." He said, "Okay." Well, it's not I going to run. I said, "Me running away." I said, "Just follow me up to my palace, no problem." Then we came together to my room, bedroom. Then I dressed up civil. He said, "No, sir, dress up in military gears and you." That's why you are on arrest. I said, "Okay." Then I dressed up in this order. Then they took me away. Then when we are out, I said, "Why not brief my family of my fate, because they don't know what is going to happen." They just came and arrest me at night. He said, "No." We went off about some 300 or 400 meters from my company. I said, "I'll brief you now. That is, we are going to mile 2 straight. We are working on the instructions that you should go and report to mile 2. I said, "Mile 2? He said, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, no problems." And that was how I saw myself. I was at Yundum Barracks, the senior manager case is going attachment, and as acting CEO at 2BN for this Farafene. When I went there, I was there, another posting came again. He said, "You are there, posted as 2IC. I said, "Okay." Then I was there till that Saturday after watching a football match. I didn't even receive the message. That it was Major Bayer who received the message that tell Dabo to report to Yundum Barracks on Monday. Okay, then from there I said, "What about other barracks?" He said, "No, don't mind. I'll give you your own tax. Everybody's giving a clear tax. That is, State Guard will take care of from Denton Bridge to the State House itself. And GNG will take care of from the bridge towards Combos. Your tax is to make sure that you reinforce your guards at transmitter station, and then the the earth station, the airport tower. You lay an ambush for any interference or any rescuer, and you will demolish any plane that lands from 2200 hours." He said, "You are the adjutant." I said, "Yes." He said, "You have access to the armory, which is with you." I said, "Yes, if everything will close and then it's with us. Adjutants are in charge of the armories." He said, "Now, the personnel from GAF headquarters, that's a Gambia Armed Forces headquarters, will be armed by you. And you make sure you put enough ammo at the tower and then on the ground to make sure that nobody goes out of ammo." Those are the detailed tasks given to me. Normal gathering of highly experienced people I found here. Then I came and I was seated comfortably, and they asked me to give my honest opinion of what had happened or what I knew about the whole coup, plotted coup. Then I gave out my own version of what I knew about it completely without any duress or harassment or whatever. I'm too much shocked and then deeply regretting why I have even associated myself completely with this. Like, I have done enough effort, but like if somebody is in a problem, maybe somebody listening will not understand. But I tried to make sure this information is leaking out, but there was no way God had to understand this thing. But I feel I've got enough with this government. With just 11 years of service, I got almost my compound, I get private car, I get everything with me. So what is pushing me into this thing? I don't think so there's any need. That's why I got in the armed forces in 1995. How many missions did I go out? And what is the chance for me? There will never be a delay for promotion for me. Any progress is there for me. And the confidence they have in me by sending me every and there's any problem, they will call on me, that will move to this place. I had that confidence in me that definitely, I've got enough training. I'm among the best officers of the GAF. So if all of a sudden my career was on to end like this, definitely going to be a shock for me. But I need to give out something still. I believe in myself too much, definitely. So far as I said, if anything you are associated with and you say, I know something about it, definitely nobody can forgive you. But as I tell you, a layman will not understand the efforts I have made to make sure this comes out. But all the same, I can just say I'm just completely sorry to everybody. The discomfort, the alarming situation, the harassment, and then the sleepless night for everybody, the sleeping under stress because of this rumor. And I really regret that, definitely. Even my own family. My father was almost 80 years old. When they came to arrest me, he grabbed, he fell down, can die anytime because of the stress. So definitely I know it's a long-touching thing for me altogether.
My name is W2 Alphaba from the Gambia National Guards. And my appointment there, I'm the Regimental Sergeant Major, I'm the RSM of the battalion. The knowledge I got about this foil coup was 2 months back when the then CDS Colonel Ndure Cham came to our barracks at Fajara Barracks whilst we were repairing the fence. On that process, after a while, he just called me to bring some nails because he was the one holding the hammer to assist the boys. He just called me aside and whispered to me and said, Alpha, we are on something, but when it's ready, you will be informed. Okay. I asked him, what is that? He said, we are planning a coup d'etat. So there and then, after that process, he left the barracks and went. So later, after that job, when we were closing, I went to see the CO, who is our battalion commander, Captain Mendy. And I informed him, I said, do you understand something when we were fencing? He said, no. I said, the CDS called me aside, informing me of a coup d'etat. So later, speaking to the battalion commander, he just laughed and said, this man is crazy. He is used to saying these things to everybody. So from that day, there was about 2 months back, I didn't have no connection with him until last 2 weeks when we had this ceremony at the camp with these those American U.S. soldiers who came to have a training, the closing ceremony. He was there when I prepared the quarter guard. He came and took the quarter guard, the salute, and went to the school. When he was leaving the school, I was standing at the quarter guard slab waiting for his going out so as to give the last salute. So he just called me, and told me that I want to see you in the evening if you have time, whilst he was boarding his vehicle with Captain Bunja. So from that, when he left, the CO was standing at that time. I went down to the CO's office and told the CO again, Captain Mendy, I feel this man is just following the same issue. He's telling me to see him, So later in the evening, I went to his house to see him. So when I reached around 3:30, he was up, and he took me round the backyard to his house under a small mango tree and started teasing me, saying that this is what the field force used to do. When they are talking something serious, they go under a tree so as the tree would witness them. So in that juncture, he started explaining to me thoroughly his objectives and his plans and his aims. And the first, what he told me was, for his part, it's already done. That, the Senegalese are there to give us intervention, So later he started telling me the task he have designated. He said for the State Guard, Captain Jamme Famara is there for me. I have already spoke to him with Sanyang. What's his first name? the other Lieutenant Sanyan, Second Lieutenant Sanyan, and Staff Sergeant Malafi Kaur. They are there and they have well informed, and they are going to close a checkpoint. They are going to do a checkpoint at Denton Bridge, and they are going to be there and give a tight security. And for Farafenye, he said the CO is there, who is Major Bayo, and the 2IC, the Dent, he was the camp commandant, Captain Dabo, who is there to give access to the Senegalese troops to come and pass and go through Kanilai, to Kodin Kanilai. And for Kanilai, he said Lieutenant Low is there for him. He already speak to him, and if they reach, they're going to give them chance to do their own work. Right. So for Yundum, he said Yundum, he didn't specify who he tasked there. He didn't tell me that, because he was just rushing things so as, it will just not take time. So he said for Yundum, they're going to take the airport and make some checkpoints, and this place where just at Abuko, the art station, there's some people tasked for that. So he said for Fajara Barracks, he would send some officers, one Lieutenant Ba, M.A. Ba. He would come and join us there. He said you liaise with him. He told me to liaise with that guy. So that was what he said. And our task there was to take over GRTS and Africshell, to switch off for 3 hours. So during when he finished, I left. It was on the 20th. And that morning, he just called me. He said he's in office, and so everything is in place. So Tuesday morning, he called me and said, I'm sending my driver for you to photocopy a document for me. So when the driver came, he gave me those papers, and it was a sketch plan of GRTS where we're supposed to switch off and the Africshell. So I photocopied each 2 and put it in an envelope. I gave it to the driver to take it for him. So when he was closing, he called me and said, okay, the timing is changed from 2 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So, be informed. So later in the evening, Captain Bunja called me around 6 o'clock, whilst all I was at the camp. He called me and said, I want to see you. I said, as per now, I'm busy. All right? He said, okay, if you are less busy around 8 o'clock, we can see. So that 8 o'clock, there was no time for us to see. And me, I was not even available. So I left for my house. After dropping Captain Diallo, at Jacaranda, I went down home. So I left for my house. And around 11:30, the adjutant called me and said the chief of staff was at the barracks to brief them on an event that is which wanted to occur. So all of you are on 100% standby. So I came down to the camp, and I was briefed by the 2IC Captain Jame, LFK Jame, and I dressed up and joined them. Early hours of the morning, I was picked, sent to Mile 2. When the CDS informed me of this, on that day, that evening when I went to the CDS, so in the morning when I went to the camp, I spoke to the battalion commander, that is Captain Mendy, concerning my discussion with the CDS. And his response was, this guy is always playing with this. Anybody he sees, he tells him about this. So later I informed also Captain Jallo about the issue. And Captain Jallo's response was, don't mix on these things. The process of the interrogation, the way I see it, it was like the panel was equipped with information before bringing us for a call. I would tell the general public that this thing have come to my way and I'm there to accept it. Because it's like if your commander have tell you, and he elaborated, even telling me that my whole gaff is behind me. And it's like we are under command. We take command. And me, my immediate boss was the CEO. And I felt whatever I should hear, I should go to him and tell him. And telling him he didn't make it something important. So what would happen is this. This is an unforeseen circumstance, and I beg his mercy as he is the head of state of this country. And let him not look at me as singular. Let him look at my family behind and my 2 children.
I'm Captain Famara Jammeh. My appointment is 2IC, that is second in command, State Guards Battalion. With my knowledge about what happened, or about this foiled coup. On Tuesday, between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, Ali Job called me and asked me to go to his office. When I went there, he told me that he has a dream. And then that dream is that His Excellency, the President, called him in his office. And then he went there, but he was protocoled by the First Lady to meet the head of state. Then the head of state stood up and shook his hand. Then from that, the head of state asked him to sit down where the head of state stood up, or where he was sitting. Then he told the head of state, "No, sir, this is your seat." But a friend, he called a name, that is an Ustaz, somewhere else, just jumped and sit at where the head of state was sitting. And then I told him, I think the best thing that you could do is that go to somebody who can interpret dreams and interpret the dream for you, so that you can take out the necessary charities of the dream. Then that is where our conversation stops. I left that office because then it was almost closing time. I came to my office. But before I leave the office, O2 called me, informing me that there are some officers who want to overthrow the government. Then I called my boss, that is Captain Jai, and tell him, "Sir, where are you?" He told me that I am at the Denton Bridge. I told him, "Sir, come back, I have a message for you." He told me, "What message?" I told him, "Sir, it's confidential. Come, I have a message for you." He told me, "Okay, he's coming." He rang off the phone. 1 minute, 30 seconds, 1 minute later, he called me back. He told me, "Tell me the message." I told him, "Sir, this is confidential. I want you to come and we discuss it." He said, "Just tell me." That is the time I told him about the information. He told me, "In fact, I'm working on that information. I have also heard about it. But anything that comes out of it, I will let you know." I told him, "Okay, sir." So what next? He said, If there is any standby, I'll call you, and there will be a standby. That is the time I left. But before I leave, I informed Farin Sanyang about what is happening. That is Second Lieutenant Sanyang, about what is happening. Then I left. But immediately after I leave, for some minutes, the CDS called me. He told me that is how he starts the conversation. Captain Cham, I said, yes, sir. He said, if I look at you, I see myself. If I look at myself, I see you in me. I told him, what do you mean, sir? He said, we are going to strike today. We are going to overthrow the head of state today by 12 o'clock. And I want you to take care of the bridge and the State House for me. I told him, sir, how is that possible? Just you want to strike today, and you are just informing me about striking or taking over a government today, and you want me to take care of the State House and the bridge today. He told me, anyway, didn't Ali Job inform you? He should have informed you. I said, no, sir, he didn't inform me. He said, anyway, it is 12 o'clock. I told him, okay, sir, I'll call you back. And then I rang off the phone. Then I never called back. Then when I went up to around Talending, Captain Dabo called me, YMS. Then my battery was about to flat, and the CEO told me that he will call me later, so I don't want my battery to be flat. I told him, okay, you can. I gave him the number of my wife. I said, maybe I'll be at home, but you can call me on my wife's number. I gave him that number. Then we left. When I was about to reach Lameng, my boss called me, that is Captain Jai, and tell me that the information is confirmed. You people come back, we are going on standby. I told him, okay, sir. But that is very close to my house, that is Yundum and Lameng. I decided to go home, have my lunch, prepare myself, and then come back. When I came back, I told my boss, I said, sir, these people said they are going to strike by 12 o'clock. He told me, no, sir. He told me, no, it is 2 o'clock, but we've already started the operation. Then, on the 22nd, around between 5 and 6 o'clock, my CEO came to me in his office and told me that your name have been mentioned as being part of the plotters. You can go to the office of the NIA office to clarify yourself. That is the time I was picked, taken to Mile 2. Then the following day, that is on, I think, is it on Wednesday, I came here to write my statement. There was no word of threatening word, or what is name again, or torture that is meted on me. They didn't force me to say anything. What I will tell the president is that I am a loyal officer, and I will still remain to be loyal. I will never be disloyal to him. If this is something that I have known well before, it will not have been reached today. Because another thing is that if the CDS had not called me, this means that I will have been dumbfounded when I'm called here, because I will not know anything. I'll just come here, you are in the picture, I said, what can I say? I could not say anything. I want to reassure my superior officers and the head of state that I'm a loyal person and I'm still loyal. I'll never be involved. I have never and will never be involved in any criminal or any other case that will see the downfall of his government.
Deputy Inspector General of Police, as well as Director General of Immigration.
Morol miniyalonko ye dabula nyin kudeta bayringoleto bina wole kuma kango sambalale nambi tumo minna tili dantan komanto non aliye lamoynu modol la ye mimfonun ila dabulo nyin kudeta bayringoto banko kanjang bi morol minu ye dabula nun nyin ko nyin kono
wolle la kuma kawo nyimbina sindilalma alse la moy
nte tom Umar Fallet ngulta yalal badibu yalal tan ko jala bar be sirin Touba nana karan ko be sirin je moroy mutaji meta nata kana jam mor yala mol kambula mor yala foye musodi na kerseri wala dum kasabati ban be sirin Touba fongolat yo ntara Nairobi sunkaro tilifu la nyawle mota Senegal Dakar kata Nairobi mbije fo sunkaro le lokun laban din abina Usen Jatima o dok ko tama be do ko la UN Dakar otumontene café Touba mi tata banta ko ni abina yo wala muso téléphone du badu la muso téléphone ka sa fo e café Touba dara ya samana ani aka fon la muso fona kala gejala ya